What most couples want on their romantic vacation is some privacy. But for one couple, their prized alone time is about to be crashed by some unexpected visitors.
Barney Hill, who is a postal worker, and his wife Betty, who is a social worker, are driving home from Niagara Falls. And they have decided that they are trying to get home to New Hampshire as quickly as possible, so they're gonna just drive through the night. So as they're making this drive late at night, they suddenly see lights on the horizon.
At first, they think it's just a falling star, until it suddenly swings around to the back of their car.
And as they continue, the light or the object continues to get brighter and brighter, and he can't shake this bright hovering light that's now following him and his wife.
Then the object descends and begins hovering directly in front of them, forcing Barney to stop the car.
Barney decides to grab a handgun that he had under the front seat, and he runs out of the car to try to get a look at this thing.
He sees something that he describes as the size of a jet airliner. It's huge, but it is flat and round, and it has windows, and he can see beings that look almost like they're grinning, which has to be terrifying.
From here, things get even stranger.
Feeling frightened, he directs the gun at this craft, but some impulse tells him to hold his fire, to back off.
And he immediately gets a bit freaked out because someone seems to have access to his inner thoughts. And so he decides he is going to get back in that car and drive like he stole it.
They start hearing this rhythmic beeping coming from somewhere in the back of the car, and then all of a sudden, they lose consciousness.
When Betty and Barney wake up, they're 35 miles down the road with no idea how they got there. Dazed and confused, they continue home.
They get home, and immediately things seem a little strange. Barney and Betty look at the clock, and they see that it's about 5 a.m., which is at least 2 hours later than they projected getting home. They realize they lost 2 hours.
Betty notices that her dress is ripped, both the exterior fabric and the lining. There's a weird pink powder on it. Her earrings are missing. There's some weird scuffs on Barney's shoes that aren't normal wear and tear scuffs. Things are just not adding up.
And all this leads her to reach out to the Air Force, where she comes into contact with Dr. J. Allen Hynek, who at the time, it must be noted, is a skeptic of UFO phenomena.
But after hearing their story, even the skeptical Dr. Hynek is stumped. So the Air Force opens a file on the hills in a secretive program known as Project Blue Book.
This program operates from 1946 through 1969, and during this time, the Air Force amasses 13,000 reports of UFO sightings and encounters.
While the government secretly looks into the Hills case, Betty and Barney are still trying to cope with the unsettling incident.
So meanwhile, the Hills have become concerned about this missing chunk of time and what happened to them. And so they decide to consult with Dr. Benjamin Simon, who starts doing regression therapy with them. And this is the kind of therapy where you will find a repressed memory and kind of relive it under hypnosis.
Dr. Simon decides to record Betty and Barney's individual hypnosis sessions, and they reveal the terrifying details concealed in the Hills' memories.
If you listen to these recordings, what's heard is absolutely blood-chilling.
They were going to capture us. We had to get the hell out of there. They were going to capture us.
His eyes. I've never seen his eyes before.
The beings that they describe have a grayish skin, large, bald heads, and probing oval-like eyes. Now, described today, this is our popular image of what might be referred to as grays. But the fact is, this is 1961. That popularized image does not really exist then.
Betty and Barney talk about what happens next with these gray bipedal beings. They're walked up a gangplank into this particular UFO, and then they're both examined.
It's a humiliating and frightening experience. Their bodies are probed, scraped, samples seem to be taken.
By 1965, the Hills abduction story gets picked up by a Boston newspaper, and it becomes an international sensation.
And so documentaries start covering the Hills. There is a really great 1975 movie starring James Earl Jones as Barney that comes out. Now there is actually a historical plaque on the road where they claim that they had this encounter. That plaque was put there by the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources. So whether or not you believe them, there is a historical marker for this event.